If you vote to shut down, you're basically telling the American people, I can't do my job.
And what's funny,
I can't do my job. So many different ways. How you get your services.
Well, that was always their argument.
That is the argument there. And I've told them.
And does it really change it?
It doesn't change.
Because at some point you have to go back up. You have to go back.
And whoever is harmed is going to hold that against. I know when Ted Cruz shut it down one year.
Yeah.
And we couldn't figure out. I said, Ted, what are you proving here? We have to get back and let's get working things. And they finally did. You know who came up and made the deal with McDonald, Senator McConnell from. They passed it to basically CR.
Can I just set the table first before you say this? For years, it was the Republicans who threatened to shut down the government when the government, and they did sometimes. Now it's the reverse. The Democrats. The reason why this is an issue is because some people in the Democratic Party are saying this is the only leverage we have against the president and the Congress, which is on his head. This is the only thing we can do is shut down the government, which is ironic a little because again they were always for not doing it.
Bill Maher sat down with Senator Joe Manchin and fellow guest Alex Wagner on Real Time with Bill Maher, and what followed was essentially a masterclass that neither of them were prepared for. Because somehow, these two couldn't see what's been painfully obvious to everyone else, that identity politics has become an absolute disaster for the Democratic Party. So Bill Maher had to step in and spell it out for them. And here's the thing, once Bill Maher laid it all out the way only he can, they had no choice but to sit there and accept it. They actually had to admit on camera that identity politics isn't just bad for the country as a whole, it's actively destroying the Democratic Party's chances of ever winning a major election again. So let's get into the clip where Bill Maher schools Joe Manchin and Alex Wagner on the uncomfortable truth about identity politics live on Real Time with Bill Maher. Let's check it out.
It circulated a list of 45 words, I read this, and phrases that want Democrats to avoid using, including privilege, microaggression, unhoused person. Is this good advice for the party?
Not at all. Let the person be who they are. Now, there's not a voter out there that can't tell you, I believe, if you're real or not real. And I've always said in West Virginia, growing up, people could shake your hand, look in your eyes, and see your soul. It's all they had. If you are who you are, they'll know it. If you're in it for the right reason, they'll know it. And if you've got to basically explain to them that you're maybe not radicalized or a complete different far left that they don't understand. You know, the Democratic Party's lost 160,000 registered Democrats since this November election. If they think the country's going more left, why is the Democrats losing their own people? They've got to come back to center. Center left, center right's where you run the country. And all these types of things are saying, oh, this makes this person non-electable or basically it drives people away from the party. The thing that drives me away is we're not getting the character and the quality of the person we used to get.
But I think the point here was that.
And yeah, that's absolutely true. But of course they're gonna say the right things when they're sitting directly across from Bill Maher, because they know he'll call them out on the spot. But the identity politics problem runs much deeper than one conversation on a talk show. Here's the thing, if Democrats actually listened to voices like Bill Maher or even Cenk Uygur, and look, I'm not a fan of the guy, but he's not wrong about this, or Ana Kasparian, they'd have a real roadmap to winning again. The formula isn't complicated, just say what the majority of people actually want to hear. That's it. Because here's the difference between the two sides. The right has an actual foundation. A lot of conservatives are driven by faith, by values, by a belief system that exists completely outside of political strategy. They believe what they believe because it means something to them personally. The left, their positions shift wherever the political wind takes them. No real moral foundation, no consistent principles. Just whatever they think gives them the best shot at winning. So if winning is literally your only guiding principle, why on earth would you keep pushing identity politics, speech policing, and the exact agenda Bill Maher keeps warning you about? That's not a winning strategy. That's a losing one. Not that I'm rooting for them, but if they keep going down this road, they're going to keep losing. And honestly, they'll have nobody to blame but themselves. If you appreciate thoughtful, respectful conversation, please consider subscribing. It's free and your support is truly appreciated.
Are connected to ideas that people.
I was asked, I got to tell you this, I couldn't even believe it. Now, I come from West Virginia, okay, and it's a wonderful, beautiful state with great people. I'm getting interviewed at one of the college campuses, and the beautiful young person who did that, they says, now, how do you want to be addressed? I says, I'm Joe Manchin. And he says, no, he or it, or I says,
what are your pronouns?
And I said, what are your pronouns? I said,
it is not one of them, but yes.
They. She gave me that option.
They.
She gave me that option.
She didn't say it. She said they. You want to be they. And
I wanted to be Joe.
Right.
And I kept saying Joe. And she had a hard time with that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, Joe,
maybe because you
never
wanted to
too
go
late.
like senator, yeah.
Never to make big changes in life.
The interview didn't go that well after that.
Okay, all right.
It's ridiculous.
It is, isn't it?
I'm going to say it's not. I think there's enough Democrats that'll work with Republicans not to shut it down. They're just not talking. This whole thing's blowing apart, and they said we're going to use this and wedge this or wedge that. If you vote to shut down, you're basically telling the American people, I can't do my job.
And what's funny,
I can't do my job.
Who runs the legislative branch? The Republican Party.
Yes.
The idea that Democrats need. I understand there could be a political cost.
The Senate or the Congress?
Listen.
House. It's the Senate.
That's going to go to the Senate. It passed the House.
It passed the House, but the Senate is basically.
What passed the House? The shutdown?
Well, they will. That's not a problem.
The CR is going to pass.
No, they passed it to base the CR.
Can I just set the table first before you say this? For years, it was the Republicans who threatened to shut down the government when the government, and they did sometimes. Now it's the reverse. The Democrats, the reason why this is an issue is because some people in the Democratic Party are saying this is the only leverage we have against the president and the Congress, which is on his head. This is the only thing we can do is shut down the government, which is ironic a little because, again, they were always for not doing it.
They won't even talk to each other, Bill.
I'm sorry, Alex, you finish.
There is a sense that the Democrats are up against a wall. They have nothing. This president has run roughshod against the Constitution. He does not care about bipartisanship. He doesn't care about arguably half the country. And people are saying, where the hell are the Democrats? Democrats have a series of talking points that haven't really resonated. You have a few singular Democrats who are out there fighting the good fight as joyful warriors. I'm not going to name names. But, those in the legislative branch, where are they? If this is their only lever, shouldn't they pull it?
If that's what they're concerned about, when you shut the government down, how many people are harmed by that? Down the chain. I mean, so many different ways. How you get your services.
Well, that was always their argument.
That is the argument there. And I've told them.
And does it really change it?
It doesn't change.
Because at some point you have to go back up. You have to go back.
And whoever is harmed is going to hold that against. I know when Ted Cruz shut it down one year.
Yeah.
And we couldn't figure out. I said, Ted, what are you proving here? We have to get back and let's get working things. And they finally did. You know who came up and made the deal with McDonald, Senator McConnell from.
And look, I'll be honest, Manchin is just really hard to listen to. The man is teetering on Joe Biden territory at this point, and that's saying something. Now, what Bill Maher is doing here, I think he's deliberately giving the Democrats a little breathing room because he goes after them so hard most of the time. And fine, their backs are against the wall, but let's be crystal clear about why. They put themselves there. Years of pushing rhetoric that the average American simply does not care about. Identity politics, speech policing, performative nonsense that does absolutely nothing for people's real lives. That's why they're in this position. That's why they have no power. And I get it, they're never gonna just sit down, regroup, and come back smarter. They're always gonna be fighting for something. But man, while they're out here fighting for pronouns and policing language, the rest of us are standing in TSA lines for 4, 5, 6 hours. Flights getting canceled left and right. Government shutdown threats every other month. Like, come on. Can we get just a little bit of focus on actual problems that affect actual people? Just once. Because at the end of the day, all these politicians really care about is holding on to power, and the American people are sitting in airport terminals paying the price for it. Get it together. Man, seriously.
Was Joe Biden. And the Democrats got mad. He says, don't you send that Joe Biden up here anymore to make a deal.
I have a hard time imagining that Chuck Schumer is going to do a redux of what he did last time, given the blowback that he got from his own party. But we'll see.
He got it from the left. He got it from the extreme left.
Well, he's a Democrat.
He has to be the leader. If he's going to be the leader, he has to stand strong. This does not, don't punish the country for not doing your job and sitting down working with people. The whole thing about the Senate.
What do you mean doing a redux of what he did?
Chuck Schumer.
Yeah,
Chuck Schumer kept the government open by rallying Democrats and passing a budget. He did the right thing.
He's not going to do that.
And got an extraordinary amount of blowback. And we're talking about, it's not just like, let's just be clear. Yes, it is funding the government. It is also funding Trump's agenda, which there are masked agents pulling people off the streets. It's like the Handmaid's Tale down in the South. I mean, the people are looking at a country that they don't recognize. Half the people feel like this is
shutting it down is not going to change.
I understand.
And the whole ICE situation is being blown completely out of proportion. People are out here claiming agents are throwing bags over innocent people's heads in the streets. Come on, man. That's just not happening. And if you genuinely believe that's going on at scale, you have spent way too much time chronically online. And honestly, I don't even think most of the people pushing that narrative actually believe it themselves. It's just a useful talking point, so they run with it. Here's the reality check. Do the math. Even with everything Donald Trump is doing to maximize deportations, he still isn't coming close to the numbers Barack Obama was putting up during his presidency. Obama was deporting people at a massive rate. Where was the outrage then? Where were the protests? Where were the dramatic comparisons to historical atrocities? Nowhere. Complete silence. So if Trump is supposedly going to extreme lengths and still can't match Obama's numbers, what exactly does that tell you about what Obama was doing? Nobody wants to answer that question. Look, are there occasional instances where an ICE agent steps out of line? Sure, that happens in every law enforcement agency, and it should absolutely be addressed when it does. But acting like systematic abuse is happening on every street corner every single day, that's just dishonest. Drop your thoughts in the comments about Bill Maher putting these guests straight on identity politics. And let me know what you think about the whole Bill Maher versus Joe Manchin and Alex Wagner situation on Real Time with Bill Maher.